It also feeds into another huge problem that's actually occurring all over the world throughout these surrogate services where people are like, oh, we ordered a perfect baby. This child isn't perfect. We refuse to take it home with us. Hi there, I'm Roux. Welcome to my video where I talk about anything I want. Inspired by D'Angelo, I am, yes. So yesterday I put out a video, a new type of video called Real Talk, where I talked about surrogacy. Now, it's a discussion, and I really appreciate people answering and commenting. And some of the comments mentioned that people might want to have surrogacy because they want to closely monitor the pregnancy and experience all that and make sure that the child is healthy. Which is, understandable, I get it. But then it went into, but also people want to make sure that the kids don't have any problems. Because if you adopt, it takes a long time, and those kids have so much trauma that people would rather have like a new, fresh, non-trauma child. I have a huge problem with that concept. It's not the first time I've heard it. The first time was actually years ago. A family member of mine was talking about how one of her coworkers had outsourced pregnancy so that they could have a child, and this coworker was a child psychologist who works with kids with trauma. And apparently his reasoning for wanting to do a surrogate was because he wanted a child that didn't have quote-unquote problems. Which again, this person is a child psychologist. I feel bad for their child. Because apparently this child is now not allowed to have any problems. And apparently if you're a birthed child and you're not adopted or whatever, then you don't have any problems. You know what they say, children of psychologists are the ones who are the most screwed up. I feel like this is definitely going to be the case with this dude. Oh my god. It also feeds into the notion that, oh, if I have my DNA in there, it's gonna be perfect. And I get that this person is a child psychologist, they've seen a lot of trauma, but again, I find it to be an extremely shallow and disturbing thought pattern, and I don't think anyone who thinks this should be parents. There, I said it. Yes, if you think that there is somehow some sort of magical limit to where you wouldn't be able to parent, you shouldn't have kids. Because kids can come with all kind of problems no matter where they come from. And if you have a limit, then you would fail, wouldn't you? If your child superseded that limit, wouldn't you? And that's just not good. If you're a parent, you have to deal with anything. You can't just go, actually, this is too hard, I quit. There shouldn't be a limit like that. Like, if you go into it thinking that way, that's a problem. It also feeds into another huge problem that's actually occurring all over the world throughout these surrogate services where people are like, oh, we ordered a perfect baby. This child isn't perfect. We refuse to take it home with us. I'm not kidding. There are so many cases of children being abandoned in the surrogate mother's country because the families are like, actually, this child isn't what we ordered. Like this is some sort of Amazon wish list and they didn't get what they ordered. There was a child in the Ukraine, a little girl named Bridget, whose parents were American, and they ordered to have her made, and she was made, but then she was born with some disabilities, and they straight up abandoned her in the Ukraine. The girl doesn't have any nationality because the Ukraine don't accept her as a Ukrainian national because she's a surrogate baby, but the US won't take her because she's born in the Ukraine and the parents won't take any responsibility for her, and she's just abandoned in a broken system. And it's so heartbreaking. There was another case where a couple had twins through a surrogate in an Asian country, and the couple was Australian. One of the twins was born with Down syndrome, and this couple straight up abandoned one of the twins and only took home, quote unquote, the healthy one. Yeah. That just goes into why this pisses me off so much, because you're not going to be surefire going to have a child that doesn't have any problems just because you had it through a surrogate versus if you adopted it. It's just not a thing. That's not how life works. And yeah, it's just upsetting to me. And I think that if you legit have that viewpoint going in, I don't think you're cut out to be a parent, because you don't know if your child is going to have problems. You don't know. And if they do, if you've already said to yourself, I'm not cut out to deal with that, then you really did them a disservice by being their parent and choosing to have them quote unquote made. Yeah. I think the kind of mindset of, oh, it's going to be perfect, it's the perfection if I grow it myself, like have it grown through a surrogate, that kind of mindset is a huge problem, because that's not reality. Like, that's not how life works. You never know what's gonna happen. And I think that really feeds into the kind of people who would take that mindset and abandon their children. Not that everyone would, of course. I'm not saying that everyone who would want to go through a surrogate, who wants a child with no problems, would leave their children, but it definitely feeds into the people who would. Know what I mean? Yeah. And that's a huge problem. That's at least how I feel about it. What do you feel about it? I didn't mean to be like mean to anyone who commented, by the way. I really appreciate everyone for commenting and putting in your 2 cents. That's just how I feel about it. Do comment below and don't harass anyone. I hope you enjoyed it and you enjoyed this type of video. I'm still gonna have my regular schedule at Pinky Promise. See you on Friday. Okay, love you, bye.